Two.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am BDL. I'm coming to my buddy J4Y, bringing you episode number 96 of our DoD On Demand podcast. What is it? Oh, my friend.
It's the big night. The big. Everyone's been waiting on the edge of their seat for years for this night.
At least years.
Probably.
For more than one reason, I would say. I feel like this is like the night before Christmas. Like, I'm about to disappear. I don't have work tomorrow. Excite. And I do have a flight to catch. So really, living the dream. And then, of course, as I'm sure what you were actually alluding to, we have our ginormous announcement that we're going to make you wait hours and hours and, okay, actually seconds, to talk about. Before that, though, how are you? How's life?
Life's in the fast lane, man. It's in the I don't know what that means.
Have you found a new religion? Have you made any good investments this week?
Boy, I wish I decided. I actually have a broker for that, and I think I have like 3 stocks.
Perfect. Like 3 shares, right? Not 3 separate stocks.
Something like that. One of them's in the Coca-Cola though, and that's a good investment because I buy so much of it. You know, I'm just basically return on investment right there, right?
And 2 of them are in DoD On Demand. What's up?
Yeah, that's right.
It'd be really sad if you only own 2 shares of DoD On Demand. That is a fickle business, let me tell you.
2 out of 4. You got the other 2, right?
Yes. So, I mean, I think we should just get right into this. We've been telling you for a long time, guys, so we've been hard at work. We've been known to fall through on some things in past, but we have the shiny, the spectacular DoDOnDemand.com. That's right, folks. Have our own nice little website, which I can only assume Jay has up on the screen.
I can now.
Oh, now it is.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Here is, of course, going to be your new homepage for your internet browser, which will allow you to access a lot of awesome stuff. We're going to be putting all of our content here. You know, we've already mentioned you guys that we have Magic Man, and we also have Striker OD, who've been helping us out a lot with content and getting things together. Here is some hard work, some sweat, some tears, just enough blood, and here you guys have it. So we actually are going to run through real quick just to show you what all is on here, but we also have some fun stretch goals, which I'm actually super excited about. But maybe we'll run through the website first for that. So what's on this fantastical website, Jay? DoD On Demand. How was I?
At the upper left-hand corner, you'll see our new logo. That I'm the only one wearing the shirt tonight, so I'm a little sad about that. But you know,
some of us have to wash it in their hotel sink every night for the next week so that they can wear it to the competition every night this week. Yes. I wanted it to have some rest.
Fair enough. Yeah, you don't want to be just like a stiff piece of cardboard when you're wearing it around eventually. Anyways, yeah, so there's the new logo. It's beautiful. Obviously, if you click it, it gets you back to this is the home page here that you're looking at. And right away, you'll see some fancy little animations. That the Shades Review one, maybe could have done a tad bit better, but that's just the start of many things. But these are your featured videos. There's a slide through some of our top things we want you to see. You'll see there's also a bunch of categories here in the top red bar. We've broken it down right now into DoD Presents, which is right now only has the Shades Review, but we plan on putting in, you know, other, not categorized things, I guess is the best way to put it, you know, because we have the podcast, we have the 3000, and then we kind of just have miscellaneous. So right now, let's just kind of call it that.
I will say that upon my return, I will be writing a little article. I've got to do the young, handsome Anthony Bourdain impression. I feel like I just called Anthony Bourdain old and ugly.
You did.
My narcissism actually just insulted someone else. Whoops, my bad. I'm going to be writing a little bit of an article when I get back on just my experiences out in Seattle and how much fun it has to ensue. How could it not? So yeah, a lot of random content there. As you mentioned, we have the podcast, as well as the Theater 3000. I'll tell you right now that we're not resting here. We actually are getting the gears turning on getting another piece of the DoD On Demand armory assembled to give you guys even more content and some content that you guys can get involved in too. You can see below Our recent posts that come up here. We're going to have a poll, which we're going to try to work into our DoD On Demand question of the week a lot in the future. You can come see when our stream is up and running, and there's a nice little countdown to see what the next DoD On Demand event is going to be, whether that's our podcast, whether it's Dota Theater 3000, or the release party, which may or may not be in the future for this website. And I think what's also really cool is that below that you can actually find our RSS feed, so you can download the audio for all of the episodes. So really, this is your one-stop shop. You get to come by, you get to sign up, support us, hang out with some other cool Dota On Demand loving folks. I mean, what more could you want other than, I don't know, naked ladies in the sidebars? Well, we got to keep it classy, so.
Exactly. I mean, if you want to have that in the second tab, by all means. We won't judge you. But, yeah, we keep it, we'll try to keep it a little top-notch here, at least to start. Yeah, you pretty much laid it out there pretty well. We've got our different categories. We've got all our new things posting here. I like how I love it like a hawk on Sunday is the top vote on the poll. So we got to get more jumps on that, though. And we might use this polls for good or evil in the future, depending how we wish to. But either way, we definitely advise everyone get in here and start participating. Like you were saying, there's also ways to get involved directly by registering, right?
Yes, absolutely. We are going to be running some polls in the future, which will probably range from being hilarious, fun polls to, what kind of stuff do you guys want to see us work on next? And, there'll be some registered user-only polls and some additional content for you guys. So I think this is really great. We've had stuff scattered a lot. We've had to do a lot of plugging of different websites, different ways you can try to find us. And, of course, you guys can always come by and visit us on any of the other social media, the Facebook, the Twitter. You can keep dropping us YouTube comments, but here you go, your one-stop shop to keep up on everything that me, J4Y, and Co. You have to remember the Co. Are working on.
It's the team, and actually, I mean, that's going to be down the road, but we're going to be looking to expand, too. So keep your ears open for that as well. Ears open? Yeah, that's right. It sounded weird, because eyes open makes sense. Ears open, I guess you don't want them to be closed, but either way, don't cover them. Yeah, we're going to be looking for you guys. Actually, I just noticed, I haven't seen this before, but our Twitch Hot and Fresh says we're streaming live, so there's another good way to see if we're live. You come to the site, it'll tell you if we are or not. You just click the link, it gets you right there, too. So, yeah, there's so much to do with the site, and it's only going to get better from here. This is our, baseline. It looks pretty, but we're going to get even more done here. I'm not going to stay long on this topic, but there is a little PayPal donation link at the top right. It just has to be mentioned. Okay? We got to let the people know if they are so gracious. Your time is all we want. Let's be honest. That's what we really want, is your time and your comments and your love. But, if you feel the need to just go that next step, here's your way to do it.
Because let's be honest, the DoD checkbook, it's running a little in the red.
For 3 years it's been in the red, you could say.
Working its way down. If there was a swing in the gold graph for the Radiant, we'd be okay with it. That's all I'm saying. If not, though, no. We definitely just want you guys to stop by, to come keep hanging out with us, because, we love hanging out with you guys regardless. And, of course, really, I feel like inspired by some of the great stretch goals that some of the other studios have done to get going. This is how dedicated we are to not taking your money. Our stretch goals are actually just for fun. The love of doing ridiculous things in the public eye, try to get you guys involved and to try to make us do ridiculous things. So I guess so we feel better about doing ridiculous things, because I almost feel like they would happen one way or another. But we have some stretch goals. 3 weeks, we're going to be running these guys, all 3 of them. You start working on these, I'm going to update this nice little graphic, which may or may not prove that we need someone that can do graphics.
Come on, Art Major. This is your bread and butter right here, man.
I spent too much time sculpting, not enough in the Photoshop.
Fair enough.
But anyway, we're trying to reach these 3 benchmarks. You reach all 3 of them, maybe we do something fancy. Maybe we make that Dota On Demand calendar thing happen. I don't know. We'll throw the lines out there. We'll let you guys pick exactly what we do if we hit all 3 of these. Light up the DoD banner. Break down the barriers, keeping them separate. Everybody wants to be back together. We want 350 Facebook likes. We're currently sitting at 249. 50 registered users on the website. Please come by. sign up so you can come be a part of the registered user only content. And 250 Twitch follows.
Twitter.
Twitter. What I Twitch? Yeah, Twitter. They both start with T. Close
You
enough.
can follow Twitch if you'd like too. I mean,
Yeah, we won't hate you for it. Come by there too. But I think we spent actually way too much time trying to come up with these. I feel like the 50 registered user pretty straightforward. If you guys were around for the Dota Theater 3000 release party, we had a lot of fun. We wound up doing some all random, all middle. Wound up being randoming a hero, and we all picked it. 10 Pugnas in one game. The hilarity ensued. We also are going to try to get some other fun stuff to stream out for one night of the week when we're going to probably wind up doing some extra bonus content just between me and Jay, getting you guys involved for some of it, and then doing some of these random middles. And then Jay, I gotta ask, what's your favorite of these other two? Which are you most looking forward to / gonna hate yourself the most for?
Here's the thing. I don't even really know what Shadows over Camelot is. So I'm not upset about it. I'm actually intrigued. The costume part, am I allowed to let my fiance help me make that? Or is it just only what you got and that's it?
She can help you on 25%. And that's how it's actually Jay's going to show up in this magnificent wizard's cap and then just like a sheet for the rest of the That's going to be it. It's going to be like gem encrusted and glowing, and there are going to be LEDs in the hat, and then it's just going to be like a towel that he wrapped around himself. Did you
go to the shower, Jay? No. This is it. This is the costume. It's fine. The Ogre Magi sounds hilarious and frustrating, but we're not going to let it get frustrated. We're going to just try to enjoy it as much as anyone possibly could. I'm really intrigued. I like the way you set it up here. Not only are we randoming how many games we're playing, but we're randoming... Literally everything about this is random, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, if you guys are just tuning into the audio, you should definitely come check out the video, you know what, on DoDOndemand.com,
yeah,
where you can find the videos. YouTube's there too, but come check it out, DoDOndemand.com. And I'll go ahead and read the goals, just in case your ears are the only thing partaking of this magical event. That's going to be an RP board game stream. If we get the 300 or the additional 100 Facebook likes, J4Y and BDLM, get the guys together. I know Gino Beam is going to be a part of this. We'll get some other people together to play the RP heavy board game Shadows over Camelot. Now, I did get to play this game one time, and we did really bad at the RP part. We're like, hey, I'll give you a Holy Grail card. You can go complete this quest. What's up? We're killing it. We're killing it. Apparently, it's not how you're supposed to play. You're supposed to be really ambiguous. I'm pretty sure using an accent should be part of the rules, if it's not. But we are going to stay in character the whole game. We are also going to sport some homemade cosplay of our characters. It Shadows over Camelot, they're all knights. I think we're just going to have to come up with completely new and ridiculous personas to be. Well,
you have that accent that you use for Dota Theater, so maybe you could roll that into your character somehow.
Oh, there will be a voice. There will be a voice. I've kind of done some preliminary sketches in my head of what my outfit's gonna look like, and it's magical. So you guys have to get us to 350 Facebook likes in 3 weeks. I'm actually gonna be really depressed if I don't get to do this. So please, PLM out.
Share it with your friends. Get everyone you know, your mothers, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers, everyone. We need likes, and we need them. And don't you want to see this? This is going to be the most ridiculous thing you may have seen in a long time.
I fear that this will also be something that puts DoD in the red, but you know what? Whatever.
Well, not if it's just a towel for me. I mean, shit. I mean, that doesn't cost very much, right?
Yeah. And then, of course, the other one for 250 total Twitter follows. That's approximately 125 increase. BDLM and J4Y, we're going to go the setup like we've done for actually both the podcast and Dota Theater. I'm going to go over Jay's apartment. We're going to random number 1 through 4. We're going to play that many games where we random a hero, and then we're going to split it up in true Ogre Magi fashion. One of us is going to control the mouse. The other will control the keyboard. I've been tempted to say we should maybe get to practice him before we actually do this.
Nope.
No, it's got to be organic and free.
Exactly.
I almost would have changed the random to 2 to 4 just so we at least have one game to warm up. Might have to happen. But we're, of course, going to stream that out. We're going to stream out the board game party. And then, of course, the release party would also be on the stream. This is stuff that's going to show up on the calendar once we hit these benchmarks, once we get all this together. And of course, like we said, we're going to plan something super special for if we can hit all 3 of these in the 3-week quota, which is actually episode number 99 is going to be where we end up on that. So for episode 100, we'll have an idea of what the crazy ridiculous is going to be, which of course is going to be a celebration in and of itself because me and Jay have committed to doing something for more than 4 days.
Isn't that a miracle in itself? Yeah,
It is.
I'm thrilled to death, and I just really hope everyone comes out for this. The Twitter part, I feel like the Twitter one shouldn't be a challenge. The reason I think that, we have a good amount of Facebook likes, but not everyone on Facebook uses Twitter necessarily. So hey, even if you don't use it, just make an account and follow at DoD On Demand. You know, that will give us, that's just what we're looking for. We want some volume. I want to get involved, and believe me, it's not because I personally love Twitter. It's because there's just so many interesting things that people tweet all the time. Right now, the TI4 tweets are off the hook, and like, it's just a really cool thing. So yeah, I think the Twitter one, I think we got that one in the bag, but you've got to help us do that by reaching out to your friends and everyone you know and just say, hey, these guys, they're pretty cool sometimes, but, you know.
Sometimes. Jeez.
I mean, all the time, frankly. But, you know, I really hope we meet these goals. And like you said earlier, if we get all 3, there will be bonus content. You know, bonus content that is so awesome we haven't even thought of it ourselves yet. So,
and we're not setting ourselves up for failure.
Not at all.
Disappointing all of you by overblowing this dramatically. No, it's actually going to live up to the expectation that we're placing on it right now. That's the best part.
That's it.
I think we got to take this opportunity too. I don't know if you guys have been following the Facebook and the Twitter lately. There's actually been a lot more stuff, and definitely shout out to Striker OD and a Magic Man who have been doing work. And like we said, we are looking to add some more people to the DoD On Demand family. So if you guys have any interest in helping us out, I know like Rocksmith Cody was a champion and was like, let me throw music at you, and we couldn't figure out how to, you know, it's a thing. But we definitely want to incorporate all of you guys into this real bad. So come drop us some messages and we'll make it work. It should be great. I'll be updating this graphic every week, probably, to keep you guys informed on where we are in this whole process.
Yes.
And of course, we'll be keeping you updated week to week on the podcast. So I feel like that's all of the magic that we can summon for one night. That's pretty good. Now
and we're done.
Basic. Yeah.
We're out of here.
I have to say, I don't even think I had the chance to move my bag out of the background. I always try to clean up a little bit before this thing starts, but got some packing going on. I may or may not have been doing my check-in for the flight tomorrow. I may also have been printing out some stuff for some shenanigans in Seattle. Did want to say, we brought it up on the Facebook that since I'll be there, I definitely want to meet up with you guys.
Yes.
I will be commandeering Facebook. I will be posting where I am. I will be posting pictures. We are planning on doing some short videos along the way to try to bring back and upload to really give you guys sort of not only the experience of the event, but having gotten to go to Seattle for TI2, really an awesome place. So we'd definitely like to give you guys an idea of what that city's like if you haven't been able to make it out there yourselves. So be looking at the Facebook. .com/DoD On Demand, because I will be letting you guys know where I end up some of those nights so we can hang out. I can buy you a DoD On Demand beer.
You can even autograph mouse pads, apparently. One of the viewers has requested it already.
I will gladly autograph a mouse pad. I have to dream up a BDLM signature. I'm at that level. I mean, the name, I can do that.
We saw that stretch goal visual. I'm a little worried about the signature. But
no, it'll be great. It's not a stamp, okay? I'll just be like, here's a happy face sticker. BDLM, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. It should be a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So you guys should check in to keep up with me. I guess. Do we have to talk about Dota?
I'd rather not, to be honest. Everything else seems so much more interesting right now. But I guess a couple things have happened in the past week, you might say. I don't know. Maybe a few things here. Oh, speaking, one last note. Apparently, a very, very generous viewer. I don't want to butcher his name. Let's just say there's a viewer that... Do you want to say his name? Do you want to take a chance? I feel bad if I mess it up. You can do it. You can do it.
Oh, Zion. I say that jokingly because I know I've butchered Ashen.
Anyways, he's
every time.
He's been a very generous lad, and he's willing to give away a genuine ticket since he's not able to go to a viewer of the show. So that means you, perchance. So if you are interested, please give us a Facebook message, a Twitter message, DoD on demand. Post a comment on when we post this on there. Many ways you can contact us. Email us at dodaondemand@gmail.com. However you can, let us know if you think you can make it. Now, granted, you don't have much time, obviously. So probably more for the local group, but hey, we're not going to discriminate. Whoever can get there and use it, that's the kind of person we're looking for here. So please, if you're genuinely serious, give us a message, and we'll see if we can get you situated with him and get you this ticket.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. I feel like this is just proof of how awesome everybody is, and how just another reason to be excited about this hike, that we get to bring people like that together, that are so generous and just willing to give away a ticket because they can't take advantage of it. So you're a gentleman and a scholar both, sir, and I apologize that I still have not figured out how to pronounce your name. It's probably not that hard. It's the worst part, and I just can't do it. I don't know. Maybe it's some sort of I don't know, whatever. One day.
Probably.
One day. But, yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff to talk about. We have the group stages we got out of.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. We do have spoilers. We do have the bubble progression brackets to talk about, and the teams that have moved out of that into the winner's bracket. And I feel like this last week I've really kind of found myself at an interesting juncture where I feel like I sort of understand these the broad stroke of the metagame and really some of the interesting little working pieces of it, and I'm really curious to sort of get your opinion on how teams are supposed to solve it, what kind of heroes you might expect to see in the main event, and just to talk about some of the strategies that have worked really well and haven't worked particularly well in the games leading up to the main event. So one of these things I definitely wanted to talk about was Earthshaker. I feel like I've mentioned him a couple times, and I feel like I actually sit at the same spot that maybe I always have. But have you been impressed with the Earthshaker showing and how he just seems to have come out of nowhere for this event?
It's definitely strange to me. There's no questioning that. He's gotten picked now 41 times, which is definitely higher than most heroes this tournament. 59% win rate on those 41 picks. Very well. Very good win percentage, 24-17. I've even seen him get picked up in the first 2 picks in games. I mean, that's how much value he's getting, or how much people are valuing him, I should say. And it is a big shock to me. I'd say roughly right before TI4, we saw a whole ton of Sand King. He was like the strength melee support hero that was getting picked all the time. I think primarily for his jungle speed, getting that early blink, and then just being a real great map presence. And then Earthshaker, though, has suddenly taken over. And I mean, obviously they do different things. The fissure, I guess, is the primary reason, so he can roam and set up all those roadblocks for people or keep people out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he's getting picked so much, but obviously he's doing very well when he does get picked.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is probably to do with the fact that this is a hero that's going to play better on a LAN event, that you can really take advantage of not having any kind of lag. You have to be able to land great fissures. You can completely destroy a team or destroy your own team on the back of those fissures. And, just to your point, I mean, just about half of the games played in 6.81B for Shaker have been at this event now. He has 97 games total across 6.81B. So that's just, I think, crazy to me. And I have to say, I was like really disappointed in it the first couple games I saw it, and maybe it's just because of people now feeling like they can take advantage of Zero because of the low ping. But it seemed like a lot of just, I'm going to sit here and wait for something to happen, and I'm going to lay down a fissure. And you'd wind up having Shakers that were like level 2 at like 7 minutes, and they really wouldn't feel like they were contributing a whole lot. But I have to say that a lot of the Shaker I feel like that I've seen out of late has been Shakers that have gotten experience, that have gotten levels they need, and have really been able to make a high impact in the game. I'm remembering, I believe it was one of the Newbie versus Navi games, where Earthshaker just lays down the hurt and really locks Navi into a bad position with some Shadow Shaman wards, and really just completely flatlines him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously positioning is everything with the Shaker and what he accomplishes. I mean, his actual laning presence per se, it's not as strong as other supports, obviously. If you're just going purely for harassment's sake, like Skywrath or something, I mean, obviously he fits a different role. He's primarily, I was saying before, really successful at roaming around, especially on those early and mid ganks. If you're against a team that has kind of a susceptible middle hero that'll die rather quickly, get one of those really good fissure blocks. My third is dying. It's fine. It's fine. I'm starting to get a little salty about this Earthshaker pick. No, it's that kind of worked. But yeah, I think he's obviously got a great position. And let me tell you, I'm a personal advocate for the hero. Shake and bake in Dota 1. That's what I called him. Shake and bake. He's always been one of my favorite go-tos. He's got a very long reach, kind of like Jakiro in a sense, except Jakiro doesn't keep you out that long. It's just a nuisance. But his is just so amazing. And then the ultimate, of course, Echo Slam. Once you get that Blink Dagger, it's that immediate impact. It's going to change a fight. Epicenter from Sand King, you could say it does similar things. It does that damage up front. But Sand King's not really like a lockdown hero. He's going to go in, do his thing, and then just Sandstorm, to Darude. He's going to dance to Darude a little bit and be done with his series. I think Earthshaker just provides this whole new ability that no other hero can really mirror.
I think it's kind of interesting considering how prevalent Shadow Shaman's been. Really, a lot of these supports that are able to just sit and lock people down in different ways. Skywrath has, of course, been popular, and he's not holding anybody in place so they can get beat on, but he's able to provide the silence, he's able to provide a long-range slow, and then a lot of damage. And I think sort of in a very different way, of course, Shaker sort of can do the same thing once he gets his Blink Dagger up. He's able to have long-range impact, he's able to sculpt the battlefield, but then also once he gets the Blink Dagger, he's able to jump in, do the big AoE ultimate that seems to be such an important part of the metagame right now, but then he's also able to just chain stun somebody and laying down the Enchant Totem and laying down the Fissure, and then of course with the Echo Slam on the back of Echo Shock, or of Aftershock, pardon me. So I used to be like so against this hero, but I really do enjoy seeing him when he is actually able to do more than just sit and sort of wait for an opportunity to lay down a fissure. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, and then 10 minutes later he's still not 6.
Yep, he obviously can be very lackluster too. If he doesn't get the experience and he doesn't get the money for that Blink Dagger, he just has a rough time getting into the action. The fissure will obviously give him the reach to get some kind of initial setup, but otherwise he has to just walk in and hope that people haven't moved enough for the Echo Slam. I mean, it helps when there's heroes like I don't know, Faceless, Enigma, heroes that are going to keep the enemy in place, so you can kind of get closer to being in that ideal situation. But otherwise, yeah, if he's going to not get the proper amount of golden experience, he is going to struggle severely. Whereas other supports, you could say, have enough other tools that even if they're behind in farm or in levels, they still could make more of an impact. Prime example, Shadow Demon, in my mind. Shadow Demon, will amplify the damage your teammates do, even if he's under level, even if he's under farmed. Disruption will keep them exactly where you want. That's what I'm trying to get across, is that he kind of maybe suffers more than other heroes in that sense.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, it's kind of interesting that he and, I guess to bring up Shadow Shaman again, they kind of really do like that gold, like in the beginning of the game, if they're able to pick up the first blood, if they're able to get, just themselves, a tower kill, if their team's able to help provide them with the money from that so they can get up Arcane Boots, so they can get up a Blink Dagger, can make a huge change. But I think it's also interesting, and just to talk about the tournament in general, kind of heard heard brought up a couple times of where the gold graphs sometimes just don't seem to matter. Games where, okay, you have 15,000 gold lead, and all of a sudden it just doesn't matter because the enemy team's team composition just works out so much better. I have to say, too, I find it really interesting that the way that maybe Valve had a premonition and bring out the super zoom or zoom out, the blimp view, if you will. Really seems to be so important to this international, because teams realizing these big OE ultimates, as always, positioning is important. Well, guess what? We can't sit on top of each other. We have to drag out these team fights. We have to fight them over a wide area, and then we have to have heroes that are going to have the mobility to be able to re-engage or engage after some of these abilities are used. So, I mean, what have you found particularly interesting, or have you, I guess, after watching so many games, had any additional thoughts or any evolution in how you feel the game is being played right now? Do you have any predictions or thoughts about what the main event's going to look like?
I think we're going to see a lot of Razor, for one. I think that has to do with the picks the way they're going. That might happen.
Fall in line with what's happening.
I think we will see less Korok mid Earthshakers. I wanted to cut that on the tail of our conversation. That was pretty freaking awesome. Well, one of the games it was. The other one, not as much.
50%. Yeah.
50%. He. Oh my god, the crits. He got this. He got that build, the beautiful pub build that you just dream about with Earthshaker. And One Shine Sports is fun. But yeah, no, I think the way it's going, it seems to be a really interesting mix. It seems to be teams that really favor pushing, but there's other teams that just as easily favor getting some farmed up heroes and taking the game. We've seen a lot of 60-plus minute games too. You know, it's been a really, I think, diverse group of times. You know, you've seen tons of forfeits under 20 minutes, and then you've seen 70-minute games, and they've been epic games, very close. I just really love the diversity of picks in the sense of like team compositions. I mean, obviously, there's going to be those top 5 or 6 heroes that are probably going to stick around until the end of TI4. It's pretty hard to kind of debate that. I don't know why all of a sudden the meta would shift in the main event, unless pocket strats, which, hey, I'm sure each team kind of has a few in their back pocket, but I don't think we're going to like all of a sudden see a drop off of Razor, Skywrath, you know, like you said, Shadow Shaman, or Tidehunter. All these heroes are still insanely relevant, and you know, I just think it's going to continue down that road.
Yeah, I'm starting to sort of look through some of these games and sort of what's been successful, and I guess what surprised me is I was expecting to see really high participation and impact of Nature's Prophet, Io, and Elder Titan. Elder Titan I actually wanted to talk about a couple episodes ago because we had someone in our chat who brought up the hero, and we're like, oh yeah, definitely want to talk about this guy in the future. Seems to be this hero that, because of the nature of the Ancestral Spirit, I guess similarly to Nature's Prophet and to Io, it just brings something to the game that few other heroes can even sort of try to bring in. And just being able to amplify heroes' damage so dramatically. I really expected this hero to come in and really make a big splash. He's been doing pretty well, and actually Io, of the 3 of them, has had just an abysmal win rate.
Oh, yeah.
I do believe that Nature's Prophet and Elder Titan are sitting at about 60% win rate throughout the tournament. Nature's Prophet's definitely gotten more play, but really expected to be around this ability to teleport around, to split push maybe with these heroes, and that almost has seemed to not work well at all. You look at the Na'Vi games and them trying to run the Tiny Wisp combination. They try to do some pooling and some stacking, but they never really find great places to relocate. Some teams would try to use heroes like Nature's Prophet and Tinker to split push, and they would just get jumped and taken out, and then that allows the death ball to sort of roll down. So my prediction for this, and I'm curious to see what your take on it is, a continuation of sort of the 4 Protect 1, not to the extent that I think we've seen in the past, where your 1 is a super hard farming hero who just goes away, farms up big items, shows up at the 40-minute mark and says, look at my six slots. My slots are amazing. But a hero maybe more like the Spectre, who I was actually really impressed with, the Morphling, a Weaver, who is more about trying to fight super early on. These heroes that have high mobility, that can get out of tricky situations if they do get ganked, and who can provide team fight potential to the other 4 heroes that are roaming around trying to create space and take towers.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Doom is a great example. Viper's a great example. These heroes that you don't have to wait till 40 minutes, like you're saying, to enable them to do what they need to do. Like, Anti-Mage obviously is kind of what we're dancing around right here, but that was the times of old where Anti-Mage would just farm for 40 minutes, have 3 or 4 big items, and then would split push. And that would be really hard to stop him at that point. You talk about Doom, you talk about Viper, Brewmaster even, although Brewmaster likes to get involved really early. But some of these heroes that aren't going to be those super late game farm heroes, like you're saying, there's going to be a lot more involved a lot earlier. And I mean, actually, I think it's funny I brought up Doom because I remember Draskell saying he just wishes the hero didn't exist at all. He wishes the hero was out of the game. He thinks he's by far the most OP hero. I mean, do you agree with that? Do you think Doom is just way too strong for its own good?
No. I don't think so. I mean, it's definitely a strong ability. You're able to potentially lock somebody out. And yeah, if you're able to get up a start where you get yourself a blink dagger and you can blink Doom somebody, then all of a sudden, anything you're doing in the fight is more than what enemy heroes are going to be able to do. I mean, that being said, we did see some lone druids going up against Dooms. The casters and commentators making a point of, well, even if lone druid gets doomed, his bear is still going to be able to run around, lay out the entangles, put on the damage. I hear that I feel like takes a little bit too much time to ramp up with some of the builds that we've seen coming out of the players and how aggressive some of the enemy teams have been playing against lone druid. But I totally get it, because it's almost like the IO, almost like Meepo in a certain way, or the Tinker, where their playstyle is so destructive to the normal flow of a game. At least, Doom has a normal laning phase, you could say, and then just later starts locking down these heroes and is able to get on top of them, but is really just such a wrench in the gears that you don't even want to have to deal with them. So, I don't know, but I guess to your original
yes.
thought there, yeah, I really actually enjoyed seeing newbies Templar Assassin against Na'Vi, I believe it was, actually, going for the drums Yasha build, being able to be quick, to move around, to participate a lot, to be able to put out a lot of damage, but also to have the sustainability in the fights to keep going. And that was the game that they had the Spectre. Spectre able to go out, farm the other lanes so that you're not just deathballing around, able to apply pressure to the other lanes, and then, hey, you need to fight, go ahead and drop the ultimate, go participate. If they gank you, maybe you can dagger yourself out. Hopefully you can build up some tankability in the middle late parts of the game that you can try to use dispersion to save yourself a little bit. But I think too, you look at a hero like Naga Siren, who has the potential to really take that to the next level, but requires more time to ramp up. Seems like a lot of these 15-minute victories that teams have been getting are against heroes that take just a little bit too much time. They need the 20 to 30-minute mark to be effective.
Yeah, I mean, those teams just realize they've lost too much, and it's really too hard for them to make much of a comeback. And I think there's actually, that point, I think, drives home why there's been, what is it now? Is it 8 heroes? There's been a very small number of heroes that haven't been picked. One of them, Phantom Lancer. And this is just a prime example of why he hasn't been picked. He takes a very long time, just kind of like Naga Siren, to have real impact. Obviously, if he can get to that 5 to 6 slot build, yeah, it's going to be really hard for anyone to stop him. But the way that these teams have been getting built in this current meta, these heroes like Razor, like Viper, Mirana, all these heroes that are so strong before the 30-minute mark that they're just knocking on your base's door and coming through. You don't have that luxury to farm up and split push. It just isn't happening. So, yeah, I mean, it really makes a lot of sense that Naga Siren's struggling. I guess her advantage over something like a Phantom Lancer is that Song of the Siren still can, mesh well with other heroes you're picking, like Tidehunter, Enigma, whatever you got. So she still at least has some kind of presence or showing. But, yeah, if she does not get the start she wants, which, roaming Earthshaker might even distract her a bit. But, either way, she's not going to get there, and she's not going to be strong enough to fight later on.
I think that's a great comparison, too, and why I would not be surprised in the least bit if we didn't see Phantom Lancer at all. I'm sure a team could break out a strat if they wanted to, but I think by comparison, you have more often than not a Naga Siren that's going to come online and be able to participate sooner than a Phantom Lancer will, with the Radiance being able to split push earlier, more effectively. That provides more to the team fights. So I really don't see why you would ever want to go for the Phantom Lancer as opposed to Naga Siren, especially because the hero has more potential anyway as far as laning is concerned. It doesn't have to be just played in the side lane, could be played middle as well, and has been shown to be very effective there. Going back, to RTZ, really I think bringing that back for the most part. Are you surprised by any of these other unpicked heroes? I believe we're sitting at 9 now, actually. Bounty Hunter did wind up getting picked up.
Yeah.
He did win, so good for him. I will say that one of these heroes is one that I actually expected to have higher impact, so I can own up to my misprediction there. But what do you think of these heroes that have made it in so far?
Let's list them off, because Nature's Path in the chat was asking who else hasn't been picked, so we definitely got to give them all a shout out here. We got Crystal Maiden and Lena. We got the sisters on the sideline. They're cheerleaders. That's what they are right now. We got Huskar, Night Stalker, no Synderen in this tournament. Kodal to match with Phantom Lancer, of course. Bloodseeker, Bloodsicka, if you will. Slardar, and Spirit Breaker. So, my guess is you were going to talk about Lena.
Maybe. It's possible. I guess I get it. Looking at what some of the other picks have been, we talked about it earlier, the supports needing to be able to provide lockdown range. She does have that, but the Light Strike Array is kind of dodgy. Mm-hmm. The fact that you have multiple uses but can still miss, I feel like, I don't think those two things necessarily balance out for a lot of these teams. And really, BKBs haven't even been super prevalent, I feel like. Even when you wind up going BKBs against Tidehunter, most time these teams spread out when they see the BKBs. Like Xiao 8 does a fantastic job of not dropping the Ravage, being really mindful of how many people are around with it. So they don't need a hero that can punch through it. They're actually just through their positioning and through their teamwork able to sort of dodge these heroes until the BKBs come down and then re-engage.
Here's my opinion, though, because you mentioned about getting through the BKB, which obviously requires the Aghanims. She needs an Aghanims. And compare that to other heroes, let's say Bane, let's say Enigma, let's say Vengeful. Heroes that can affect these BKB or Magic Mean heroes without an Aghanims obviously are going to be maybe more valuable to these teams because they don't have to rely on that support to get that kind of farm. And Aghanim is by no means a cheap item. 4,200 gold is rather expensive for support to pick up. If you see Disruptors, and I always call him that just because I love calling him that, Disruptor, if you see him, obviously him and Ancient Apparition always try to get that Aghanims. And actually in most games they really will. But as far as Alina is concerned, it's kind of hard to really feel the need to pool her resources. So it kind of seems weird. If you're picking her solely for the purpose of going against a BKB hero, then you've got way better options in that regard. But she obviously is a great tool for bursting heroes. And I actually, I think with the prevalence of Faceless Void in this meta, heroes that require placement of spells or abilities, I feel like their pick rate should be going kind of up coincidentally with it. Coincidentally. Can I speak English today?
I don't think so. If you could speak English, then it would be an off day for you. So
fair enough. Should be going up as well. Just because, and I'm not saying that Light Striker is enough of a reason, but just the fact, for example, Sunstrikes with Invokers. How hard is it to hit one in a Chronosphere? Pretty good. That was off the top of my head, but there's a lot of heroes that have that kind of situation. Skywrath ult, obviously one of the reasons Skywrath's getting picked so much is that reason. Even if Faceless is on your team or the other team, you're going to be able to drop that ult and basically hit whoever you want. And that's so strong in combination with Faceless. So, I know that was kind of a long tangent / rant on Lena, but to pull it all in, I feel like she could get a few more picks, but I like to compare her a lot to Lion, because I feel like they do similar things. Obviously, their ultis are almost identical, right? They've got some differences, but it's a big burst of damage. They both have a stun, AoE in some capacity, but she's more about burst, he's more about crowd control. And Lion obviously has gotten picked in this TI4.
A fair amount. Looking at a statistic that after 12 games has a 25% win rate. So for whatever reason, the Lion not working out either. You know, I can't say that I've gotten to see a ton of the Lion games, but I could see the long cooldown on the ultimate getting in the way of teams wanting to fight a lot. But I think that, again, lends some credit to Lena. But then again, Lion provides a lot of that early game crowd control, similar to what Shadow Shaman can do. But Shadow Shaman able to help you push, whereas heroes like Lena and Lion cannot. So I expect Kotal to be picked up at some point. I really can't...
Against like a heavy pushing lineup, like a Death Prophet team, or what do you mean?
I honestly don't... I feel like if you're playing up against the Faceless Void, if you don't get hit by Chrono, you can Blinding Light him, and you can try to help whoever gets caught survive a little bit longer. If you are able to farm up the Aghanims, fantastic. I don't know how you did it. Maybe some dramatic stacking. But good for you, nonetheless. You do have the potential to heal. You have AoE to help stop the push. You can take a hero that, unlike Morphling, who can use Replicate to move across the map really quickly, maybe you pick another hero to go out there and be your Protect 1 that's trying to make space on other parts of the map, and then you have the ability to recall them back into team fights if you're looking to push an important objective or take an important objective. So that, I think, is maybe of these heroes the one that I would say is most likely to actually still get used. What do you think?
I honestly thought I could see Slardar maybe in a lineup. It probably would have to be a specific lineup. Maybe one like with I don't know, Shadow Fiend. Maybe a couple minus armor heroes. Stack them up. Yeah, he's been having one of those kind of weeks. I mean, 3-3. You know, he's breaking even. But, you know, I could see maybe Slardar getting pepped up, and obviously, you know, synergizes minus armors, you're going to blow through anyone. And he's obviously a great initiating tool once he gets a Blink Dagger. So I think he's got potential. The rest of the heroes, though, I mean, Crystal Maiden, who knows, right? I mean, anyone could run her if they really wanted to. It's not like she's, like, horribly weak or anything. She's got to slow, she's got to immobilize. The ulti... If RNG's on your side, baby. And apparently people have been rolling with RNG because Ogre Magi has been picked 3 times this tournament. So, you know, that they've rolled the dice. No, he has not. And that will be another segment we'll get to in a little bit here. I have 2 clubs called the High Win Rate Club and the SAG Club. Oh. You could guess which is which. But... Actually, the one was really self-explanatory. But
is the sad club that they didn't get 6 slotted? Is that the premise?
Well, that's definitely true of those heroes. They did not get 6 slotted. They probably didn't even ever have 6 slots in their whole entire game, to be honest. But, anyways, we'll save that for a little bit longer. But yeah, I don't think any of these other heroes really see much potential. You know, you think about what they're mainly used for. Bloodseeker, that silence is kind of his main thing. But beyond that, maybe matte vision on heroes, but a little too niche, a little too easy to kill. Spirit Breaker, he really hasn't been much of anything. There was like a little, what was it, like a couple weeks where like he was like, yeah, he's cool, and then they stopped.
Before his ultimate got nerfed.
Yeah,
he was legit. I'll agree with you to Slardar, and I think Slardar is a great instance of a hero that I feel like can actually really take it to Doom too. If he's able to get up his Blink Dagger and they're able to hunt Doom, if they get to jump on him and he gets amplified damage on him, you're going to tear him apart. And you can look to push off that. Yeah, I mean, the Doom has a pretty short cooldown, and, you know, when he comes back up and you're trying to push, then he has the opportunity to jump in on you. But I think that Slardar has more potential than others to be picked, for sure. So, I don't know. Maybe we might see 2 or 3 of these heroes come up. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's over 90% of the heroes have been picked, and I think that really says a lot. When you've seen so many games leading up to this, there's so much pressure on the line, there's so much at stake, the most at stake ever up until now. To see that many heroes get played in the highest tier, I think is really just another great show of how balanced the game feels, at least to me right now.
Yep, so. That's exactly right. I mean, Unfortunately, I don't have the statistics right here in front of me about TI3 and how many heroes are used and stuff like that. But I just feel like it's been a little more evened out. It's not like we said in every single tournament, what have you. There's going to be the god tier picks, the ones that are going to be picked or banned in every game. But then you're going to have the lesser ones, and sometimes it's a big drop off to that next tier. In this case, it doesn't really feel like that. There's maybe that bottom 20. But then everyone else is kind of in the flow and still potential. I mean, we saw that Omni Knight get picked up and do a whole lot of work. He was one of the ones that wasn't getting picked either. But he was used in conjunction with the Storm Spirit. They had no way to stop him from zipping around the map, picking off heroes, and then getting out of there. And it was so rude to watch. And it was actually an off-lane Omni Knight, which was kind of interesting itself. One of the casters, I can't remember who it was saying, oh yeah, he's actually not a bad offlaner. He heals himself for a whole ton, so he's pretty hard to take down. Repel makes it so he can just bubble hearth if you played WoW. He can just get magic immunity and just TP away if he needs to escape. And at that level 7, that rank 4 of that heal, tons of health and true damage coming out if you get to use it in the fight. So yeah, I mean, in the right circumstances, very powerful hero.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to say actually historically that the hero has been played in the offlane equally to any other role almost. So really
Probably.
Showing up there, yeah, quite a bit. But he's somebody that we don't see. So, but I think like you were saying, a great use of the hero, and one that I think when you look at the pub level and you're like, oh, and I'm like, what are we supposed to do with this? Or just because you don't see him, you really don't get a taste of his true potential. Well, there you go. There it is, and especially up against an IO. I mean, geez, what are you supposed to do? You just explode into disco ball shards and give up, tap out.
And he got the Blink Dagger first, which I think we were discussed in previous episodes about how I was such a genius with that build coming out, right?
Might have wanted to go Radiance first, but
he probably wanted to, but I'm sure his team is like, "No, I'm sorry, man, not this time. Next time.
We need this."
They did too. It was a very important win. I believe it was EG coming out, but yeah, it was really interesting to see, and it just proved that we saw Medusa come out too. Now, granted, not the most successful Medusa of your life, right? Didn't work the way they had in mind, but they saw a circumstance. I believe it was Lycan. There was one more really.
There were heroes.
There was another hero in that game. I promise you. No, it was another physical damage dealer, auto attacker, right? And so, okay, if we go Medusa, it's going to slow their team fight down dramatically because they're going to try to go on us. I'll pop the Medusa ult, we'll turn around on them, and try to blow them up. Like I said, unfortunately, the game didn't really go in their favor that way. But still, the hero got picked because it's not like they have nowhere to fit in. Oh, it was Ursa. It was Ursa Lycan. And it was it was unfortunate for them, but it's still, I like how there's still the potential for these heroes, except those 9 maybe, to get in this game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it was just, like you said, a great opportunity to pick the hero. Made a lot of sense. Wound up, 6-4-5 at the end of the game. Hani playing that Medusa. Scotty, MKB, Yasha, Helm of the Dominator.
I mean, he did some good damage, but the problem is you didn't really have a team to back him up at that point.
Yeah, so I definitely agree. I'm enjoying it. I mean, geez, just to say that there was an Ursa in the game too is always fun. So
I got some meta statistics.
Okay.
Might want to throw around here. It actually came from K-Poptosis. It was right after the group stage. So these stats are a little different than after the bubble round, or whatever you want to call it, the phase 3. But the most relevant, so this is pick ban percentage. Lycan, 97.7%. Doom is 91.5%. Razor's 89.9%. Brewmaster 89.9%. Faceless 71.3%. So there's your top 5. Is that kind of did that throw any confusion towards you? I mean, was it kind of straightforward at that point?
All of these make sense. I mean, I get Brewmaster. I mean, I think there have definitely been some games where you're like, oh my god, how's that person still in a tornado? I think a lot of these make sense, despite the fact that Razor I think his win rate has sort of started to balance out, but was looking pretty less than wreckable for a while there. But yeah, I mean, seeing Like in there, get it. Doom, you know, like you're saying, some people thinking that hero is too strong, and you can definitely see games where that sounds like a great argument. And Faceless has just been all over the place and has made it very difficult for other teams to fight.
As offlane, like that's his role now. He's suddenly become the offlane hero. I mean, yeah, he gets to play in other ones too, but it seems like he's predominantly in that offlane. And it's so funny. Like, you know, a year ago, who would have ever even tried something like that? I mean, obviously it was a different game back then, different patches and whatnot, but still, just to see this hero that was always this hard carry that was like an anti-mage counter almost, and now getting used kind of more for utility, you know, getting that quick burst with the Mask of Madness and the Yaghanim's Refresher builds. It's just so interesting to see what a change of the hero. Not a lot to his build, but really, not his build, his kit. Not really changes to his kit, but the way he's built is exactly what's changed, how he's played. So, most picked. Like I said, this one's, I think, not completely accurate right now. But obviously, Razor, Skywrath, Shadow Shaman. This one said Mirana, though I don't believe that 100%. But hey, K-Poptosis, well, I'm not going to question him. Doom and Tidehunter are your top 6, according to him, after the group stage. So, like we said, I think Shadow Shaman... My question was, why did it take so long for teams to pick this hero? What does he not do?
Run fast. He can make stuff work without farm, but he is dramatically improved for the Arcane Boots and the Blink Dagger. You know, I remember a couple games specifically where casters were like, "Oh yeah, he totally stole that kill, but whatever, he needs it. He's Shadow Shaman." Let him get that early start, help him ramp up. Similarly, I would say to, like we were saying earlier, to Shaker, you can really use that influx of gold in the beginning of the game. Yeah, all of these heroes have really done a fantastic job. I mean, just showing their strength in this particular meta. It's kind of neat seeing the way that I'm looking at it here is have Razor flanked by a Tidehunter. It's just that ability to let the ultimate go off through these ultimates, the Chronosphere as well as the Ravage, just sit there and keep...
Kind of like a Death Prophet ult. Just letting it do its thing, you know? That's right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, most banned, Lycan, Brew, Doom, Tinker, Faceless. Now, the Tinker ban just has to be bans against players more than just general hate for Tinker. I don't know. What do you think?
I get the Tinker hate. Kind of mentioned it earlier, it's one of these heroes that makes you play differently. And at this, I actually was talking to Skater about it last night, Skater X7. You know, you have the option of banning out heroes that you think the other team are really good at playing, or you can ban out heroes that you don't want to play against and just how they make the game work. If you if you let heroes through that the enemy team is really good at, but you ban out heroes that change the way that you have to play and impact how your team has to respond, then you're sort of putting yourself at a disadvantage because you have to sort of play differently. If you ban out, oh my god, thoughts and words and stuff. If you let them get what they want, you have to play differently.
Yep.
If the other case happens, you understand. I think you do.
I know, I get it. I know what you mean. Don't worry about the other viewers and listeners. It's fine.
You have
I get
the potential to play your game if you ban out a hero like Tinker. You get to play at your potential best, and you would then potentially be matched up against your opponent's best. But if you let Tinker through, then you have to play a different kind of game. You might have to play a style game you're not comfortable with, and you might make mistakes where you wouldn't otherwise make them, and I feel like that's more frustrating. I'd rather lose the, wow, Zhao White's Tidehunter, he plays it a bunch, we lost to it, that sucks, we have to find an answer to it then.
Right.
Crap, I just forgot that this is what we should do against Tinker in this scenario.
If you're against Tinker, you need amazing lockdown. There's no real other way to stop him in a team fight. Like, unless you're getting so far ahead in the laning phase and whatnot that you can just kind of run over his team, if he doesn't get locked down properly, he's very slippery. He's going to be laying out many Dagons / Marches / Rockets. He's going to be all over the place, and he's going to take out your team. And I just think, like you said, that's kind of forcing you to draft or pick a certain way that you may not have wanted to otherwise. So, no, it definitely makes a lot of sense. I mean, as actually Vapor in the chat talks about, a Bat Rider would be good against him. That is one of the lockdowns that I'm kind of going at here. Is that something you need to be able to hold him in place, Chronosphere, something, so that your team has enough time to take him out, and that he can't just all of a sudden away from you, go back to base, and come back and fight full health and mana.
I gotta say, I have to interject here because, you know, I did write down some notes from individual games, some stuff that I just thought was interesting, and one of them included the Bat Rider, because that's a hero that's missing from really all of these lists, which is not necessarily the case as of several months ago. And I think for the reason in this game in particular, it was Newbie versus Titan game 2, and there's a fight at 31 minutes, I believe it was pushing into the Dire base, where Bat goes ahead and he drags somebody into the base. The enemy team has to sort of run and pass the tier 3, and oh, that sucks, but guess what? They just start tossing out AoE ultimates. They're able to sort of make the fight break even, despite the fact that they started so disadvantaged. And I believe they may have actually won it and made the Dire buy back on several of their heroes. The only time that they were really able to make the Bat Rider gank work really well was, let me try to draw this picture for you. You have team without Bat Rider in the middle lane on one side of Roche Pit, and Team Bat Rider is over by the secret shop. Had to blink over and drag somebody across the Roshan pit just so that the other team couldn't literally walk over there and continue to chase. You know, I feel like the ability for teams to just drag one person out to somewhere where the enemy team can either blink to follow up, can use mobility spells to follow up, or just walk in their huge AoE like Tidehunter can. They're really not able to take advantage of the Bat Rider like they have been able to in the past.
Yeah. No, it definitely makes perfect sense. I mean, he's still picked 32 times so far, so it's not like he's out of it. It's just obviously just not nearly as important. You know, he's really strong at countering or going up against those really specific, like you were saying, protect 1, but if the 1 is not what it used to be, where it was this very squishy, you know, like weak hero, if it's instead a Viper or a Razor or something else along those lines, a Doom, where even if you lock him down, can you even finish him off is the question. Wraith King, that kind of thing. Yeah, then he's not really as useful. 50% win rate 32 games, though, that's good. You know, comparing it on the whole, you know, that's pretty much all you could ask for from him. So, yeah, I can see, like, you're making some good points why he's not really getting used nearly to the point he was before. But you know, still is around enough given the right circumstances and situations. I'd tell you the Funnic Bat Rider is the dream.
Yes, I think
if they let him get that again.
I think Navi could appreciate more dreaming as they
need it.
I believe it was Toby that may have said that this is the first international, or maybe it was really saying this is the first international where they haven't started in the winners bracket, and they clearly appreciate the room to fall. As opposed to having their backs up against the wall from the get-go. And I believe they go up against Cloud9, which is going to be really fun series to watch to start up the...
all these matches, dude. I'm excited for every single one. Like, can you tell me one... What one are you most excited... Wait, hold on. We haven't gotten there yet. Are we going there right now, or are we still going over stats?
I don't know.
I want to do stats first. I want to talk about that so bad.
Okay.
Well, let's finish our conversation.
Statsman J4Y.
Statsman J4Y. I got some. Remember, I got the clubs still. I haven't got to my clubs yet.
Clubs.
The rivaling clubs.
I'm gonna miss my flight at this rate.
You are. You're gone
from now. Okay.
That's true. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to everyone in the chat tuning in live. Our biggest audience yet. Thanks for coming in. Feel free to participate in the chat. You're killing it.
Cute.
They are all. Well, except for that B-Dun guy I saw just post, but he's got a cute beard. That's weird. So, of my stats, let's go through them real quick. I have a few strange question mark things. Maybe you could call them what the nuts if you wanted to.
Ooh, I do.
You could call them that if you so desired. Alchemist, 63% win rate. Getting picked up. Was mid carry 9 times, support 7 times. Where did he come from?
I think it makes total sense, and just sort of what my prediction is going into the main event. You're going to have these heroes that can go for like a quick mech, if you will, can go for a quick item to go have some early impact. This is a hero that has durability, much like a lot of the team fight oriented heroes that we're seeing. And even when he plays as support, if he gets caught in a Chronosphere but he has Chemical Rage on, that's a lot of time that you're taking away from him beating on other the Faceless Void beating on other heroes. So actually, coming up to the event, I don't think anybody's gonna be like, oh yeah, Alchemist is gonna be all over the place. But I think seeing how things have sort of shaken out, it's a hero that I think actually makes a good amount of sense and feels right.
It does, doesn't it? In a weird way. But we've seen it. It's almost like an even mix of carry versus support. Obviously, there was periods where he was like only carry, and then he was like only support, and then they nerfed his stun. So after the nerf of the stun, it was just like, yeah, we're done with you. Get out of here. But then we saw him get picked up as both. Like you see Loda carry with him, No Tail carried with him. These different players trying to make use of him. But I guess the main problem with that hero, despite this good win rate, is that his advantage can also be not such an advantage as the game goes on. He gets 6 slotted faster than any other hero technically, assuming he gets a normal game. With the Goblin's Greed, or Grievel's Greed, excuse me, he's going to get obviously more money and therefore these items faster. But once he gets 6 slotted, I mean, that's kind of all you can do. And if you can't push in the base by that point, now the other team's got a chance to catch up, and those heroes are generally stronger. For a lot of these heroes have stronger kits or something that are going to make them do more work in the late game. So, I think the support may have been a little more successful than the carry version. But I don't know. I just found it interesting that he just got picked 16 times so far.
Yeah, but I think too, in that sort of scenario, the thing that I really enjoy about the Sword 4 Protect 1 is that you have a core that these other heroes are working around. You have, let's say, the Alchemist here is being played as a carry who's able to put out some damage. He's building up faster. He's able to put up the Chemical Rage to help push. He has the durability and the tankiness that's really hard for other heroes to deal with. It's not all on his shoulders. If there is a Weaver that's pushing and harassing another lane and getting tower kills, if there is a Spectre who's out there farming, who's just waiting for an opportunity to drop the ultimate, a Morphling who is just waiting in the wings with a Replicate, I feel like that's sort of the benefit of playing these heroes that ramp up early, because if you wait too long, like we were saying earlier, you're going to lose in 20 minutes. You're going to get crushed. The death ball is going to come a-rolling, and you're not going to be able to stop it. So,
yeah, that's a good point. He kind of does synergize with what we were talking about before with a hero that doesn't need all that time to get to that point. Obviously, once he gets that enough adequate time, 20, 30 minutes, he'll be big enough to maybe assist in getting pushed into that high ground. So, it's a very interesting fact. Death Prophet, I don't know if this is such a what the nuts, but 11 picks now, and I'd say she's getting picked seems more towards the later end of this tournament than the beginning. Getting really used in conjunction with these push comps. 64% win rate, so 7-4. Another hero, and this is kind of just random, and you talked about it before, but I'm like, another hero that had 11 picks is Io, but he's 4-7. So, the opposite. So, what do you think? We know why Death Prophet can be successful. Why do you think, in particular, in this tournament, she's doing so well?
For the same reason that Razor is. Because he can do his damage without having to move, without having to have control of his character. A durable hero who is building items that actually help a lot in the team fights. You have the Yule Scepter to use on herself to get herself out of a tricky situation. Can go for a Shiva's. Can go for a Bloodstone, which when she finally does get taken down is going to heal, going to bring her back faster. And a hero with low cooldown ultimate that's going to allow you to keep up constant pressure. I do have to say, this International has shown me the light in my misplay of said Death Prophet and not really appreciating the 304 build on.
I would have never thought.
if I was a mathematician of sorts, maybe I would have figured it out on my own. But since I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take everybody else's hard work and number crunching, and just apply it. It's actually something I've never done, to be completely honest. Shame to admit, and it's definitely something I'm going to be doing in the future because I just want to see what it feels like. I bet it's great, just warm and silky and.
Now, why is that point better in the witchcraft comparatively?
The mana cost, I do believe, is what actually makes it. I think it's more efficient on the damage.
So it's the efficiency of using the swarm. Okay. I mean, it makes sense. I was just trying to get that baited out there for the viewers and listeners so they knew what we were talking about. Yeah. So basically, you get to use your Q a lot more. It's not hitting quite as hard, but you get more of them, which means more opportunities to hit multiple people. And it makes a lot of sense, honestly. And I know it's only 1 point, so to like go insanely in detail about the 1 point. I mean, level 8. Well, not level 8. I guess level 9.
Or could it be level 8? Because in this build, you're skipping the ultimate at level 6. So you are going for the ability to just spam out to help get control of your lane. Not going to be your go-to every game. If you are against somebody that's likely to leave your lane, you can just sit in middle, farm up, push, and get early tower damage with the Exorcism. Good for you. But, the Exorcism ultimate is so much stronger at level 2 than it is at level 1. And you could really say, in your average situation, is it worth going for that if your team isn't going to be barreling down towers, if you're able to just pump out the damage with the Crypt Swarm?
Yeah, going from level 1 Exorcism to 2, you have 4 spirits at 1 and 12 at 2. I mean, it's a, 300% increase in damage, basically. So yeah, really huge. The level in Witchcraft gives you 5 mana cost reduction, 5% move speed, and a second cooldown decrease. So, and it also gives you a bonus Exorcism Spirit, an additional one. So hey, you get that maxed out and then put Exorcism at level 8 or whatever. That's already 10 spirits right there. That's not too bad. So yeah, it's definitely just interesting. And I've always gone, probably always, gone the Crypt Swarm, the 4-0-2-1, by level 7. That's kind of like how I've always played. Unless for whatever reason, if you need a silence super early in the game, then okay. But yeah, I would just never have thought about that build. So I'm actually pretty intrigued by it as well. And I've got the Immortal item, so got a player more.
I think this is the one Immortal item I don't have, and I don't know why I haven't spent 75 cents or whatever.
I was gonna say I bought it for $1. I bought all the Immortal items I was missing for like $2.50 total. So yeah, you should probably get on that now, especially if you're gonna plan on playing her. Totally worth it.
I'm actually I'm making the mistake of trying to do numbers in my head, but it's a 50 damage increase on the Crypt Swarm from rank 3 to 4.
Yes.
It's 50 damage increase. You're doing a 25 mana increase, as opposed to the decreased cooldown.
Oh God.
The mana cost reduction, which would give you an extra 5. I dig it. I really want to see how it feels, because I think that's definitely a reallocation of skill points that not only is about like, oh, I do a little bit more damage with this. I feel like the hero feels a lot different, making her faster, the ability to throw out more spells.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really curious to mess with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As far as what the nuts goes, that was pretty much it. I mean, I think we talked about. Oh no. Juggernaut,
yes.
Juggernaut Jungle.
Support Juggernaut.
Lanham.
There was a support Juggernaut.
Elgod. Well. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't think Lanham's Elgod.
I'm calling him that.
I think that's taken already. I think.
Is it really?
You have to kill a god before Loda.
Oh, I never call him Elgod.
Lots of people do. Turns out, I do believe Loda was the first Elgod. Well, maybe not the first Elgod, but is the reigning Elgod.
And then there was Light. Okay.
As much as I do love Lanham Dunks and apparently Jungle Juggernaut.
And this is his last year, so all the tears will be wept. Yeah, and it worked. I mean, he was stacking them, spinning away, got the levels, was able to gank. He was roaming around with that ult and just doing work. Why? Do you think it just worked because it threw them off, or do you think it could actually be viable, like, regularly?
can I say no to both? Is that a viable option?
Yes, it is.
If you watch the first couple minutes of that game, if it's the one I'm thinking of, they are painful. Like, you're like, why is this a thing? If there was any attempt at all to disrupt the jungle juggernaut, they probably would have killed him. He does participate in some early kills, which I feel like...
Oh, that first blood he got was dramatically. That was kind of the turning point for him.
Yeah, he is able to get some kills, participate in some kills early, which I feel like helped him out a lot. But, man, that was rough to watch. And you're like, why? Like, I like Juggernaut a lot, to be honest. I think he's a neat hero, and I do like seeing him played competitively. But that was just weird, and I don't think that you're going to find much success, especially now that we're getting into the main event. Not that any of the teams that were participating up to this point didn't have the capability to punish something like that, but now that they've seen how it really functions on the big screen, I feel like any team is going to be ready to deal with it.
No, it was definitely more of a...
Yeah, what is happening?
And as Flossie Gong says in the chat, it's kind of for the ward, too. I mean, that ward is so powerful. The pushing potential coming out from it, if you do Roshan, which I know they didn't really do, but, it's got so many amazing uses. It lasts a long time, assuming it can't get focused back in the back. And that Omni Slash, I mean, yeah, obviously you'd love to have the damage to go with it, but it can still be a great tool to burst down a hero, especially if you can get just one person targeted. The magic immunity plus the spin, that damage output is one of the highest ones from the skill, I believe. It's just from maxing that out. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that are definitely anti-Juggernaut for sure, but I mean, given the right circumstances, it obviously can do some work for you.
I don't understand not liking the Juggernaut. I mean, and let's be honest, like, it sounds weird with him being a support or whatever, but there was a hot minute where Juggernaut was being picked up in the off lane, in the middle lane with a bottle.
Oh, yeah.
And it really was just like, because the ward is a great team fight pushing ability, even if you just get the levels up, you're probably going to find kills. You have the magic community through spin, you're not going to get picked off super easily. The ward is going to help you, again, with the pushes and stuff. And you have the Omni Slash, which gives you the invulnerability for a time. Even if you just do get levels, if you're not under the weight of having to carry and make space for your team, I feel like you are a hero that can bring a lot to the table just off of levels.
This is a great transition, too.
Oh,
because this is going to transition me right into my clubs.
Okay. Cool Kid Club.
Let's start with the high win rate club. Or Hruk.
Nope,
we're not going to do that. Okay.
That's it.
So, some of these heroes may have only played one game, but I still thought it was just worth mentioning them.
So, trends are about to be started, is what you're saying?
Trends are about to be started, let me tell you. So, I'm going to start from highest to lowest, and I'm just going to go through some of these heroes. And, feel free to stop me. Do a little yelp. Whatever you want to do. Yelp! Let's start with Undying. 3-0. Let's just start there.
Okay, I'm gonna yelp for this one.
Yelp away.
Not go to the... I love this. He's weird because, to a certain extent, I feel like you would think that he fits. In that his ultimate is AoE. He's durable. Even, for a hero that's largely played as a support, he has had some games played in the off lane. He has a Tombstone, which is a great teamfight ability, but where I would expect him to fall short is that the Tombstone is going to be something that's better against squishier heroes, and we're seeing a lot of durable heroes. But, that being said, the ultimate does help you do additional damage to these heroes that have a lot of health and armor. So, I really like that. I can dig, and I hope to see more of it moving into the main event. I think it good makes sense.
It was used 2 or 3 times by Ice, as you were saying, kind of that offlane role. And actually, one of the games I see a Rod of Atos getting picked up by this player. Although he did have a Death Prophet on his team, to be fair. But still, it was just so fascinating to see him getting used, and used well. I mean, he had dominating records in both of these games. Way Too Sexy played him in the other game, and that was just a support. One unfortunately didn't do as much work, but it was still really good. And I mean, he has been getting kind of buffed over time, so it's not really a surprise to see him getting thrown into some of these games and used well. He's durable. He gains strength from stealing it, so he's very tanky. A lot of health to work with, and like you said, the Tombstone, such a tool to push and defend with. It's
such a tool.
Such a tool. That guy's such a tool. No, but it's really impressive, and I don't like playing as him, but boy, I respect him.
You have to like playing as him with the new Tombstone, though. I think
I don't have the Immortal item. So, is it pretty? I haven't even seen it. No one plays Undying when I play.
I'll make that happen. Don't worry. This is a problem I can fix.
Well, as long as it's not support Zeus again, I'm down for playing with you again.
No, that's also going to happen again.
Oh, jeez. Anyways, let's keep going down the list. I know we've been going for a while, so we'll keep going here. We haven't even gotten to the freaking tournament, I feel like, yet. Drow 3-0. And the note I have, of course, is thanks Isama. He is the only one that's played that hero so far in this tournament.
Your gifts are numerous and gracious.
He was a gracious guy.
I like it. I mean, this is why I like Cloud9 for this sort of Isama madness. And I've tried to troll people by playing support Drow. And, it's normally like a transition support, right? It's not like...
You tried, but we never let you.
But the times I do, I think it's so much fun. And that's a hero that I'm not super great at, but I do actually enjoy playing quite a bit. And really on the back of the build that Isama made famous with the Blink Dagger, the Mask of Madness, the Yasha, it's a lot of fun to play. And go out there and try it if you haven't, because it's nifty. It feels a lot different than the Agi stack too. The Agi stack feels boring and slow and ugh.
Like he's a real carry.
He's just like, for being that hero that you would classify as being something that's squishy or that needs to just sit in the back and pew pew if you're gonna mean anything. I feel like something that's just like, bah, I'm up in your face. I'll just blink. I'm gonna tear you down in 12 seconds. There's nothing you can do about it. Really, the exact opposite of what I think you would expect out of Drow, or how you would have expected her to be played before seeing Eternal Envy player. Again, the comparison being the Agi stack. You just hope everyone stays away from you. You try to just pew pew everybody down later on in the game. This one is up in your face, and really can push, can run in and out of fights pretty quickly with the Blink Dagger and with the Mask of Madness. It really sounds strange, but feels really good.
There you go.
There's a joke in there somewhere, but maybe that's for the
so right.
That's for the side screen, right? If DoDOnDemand.com is your PG main screen, then that joke would have gone.
God, we stay classy here. So
yeah.
The next one down the list, nice 1-0 hero, Necrophos, but worth a little talking about as it was run by EG. Mason played him. They had DK, Necrophos, Abaddon, Enigma, and Tidehunter.
I love.
Do you even care what the other team is at that point?
I don't think so.
It doesn't really matter, does it?
EG didn't care.
They didn't. They just barreled through that game. The Necrophos ended up going the Treads, Drum, Force, Pipe, Rod of Atos. Yep. Rod of Atos, I'm telling you. Just sneaking in there. So, I think obviously that hero really depends on the matchup and your composition, but in a matchup like that, what is the other team to really do?
Ancient Apparition and Prey. I think a Pugna would do all right in that. Although the Death Ball is really what they helped establish there. I mean, that was just a ton of healing. I can only imagine PPD was on the Abaddon in that game, and having seen it previously, it's a thing of beauty. It's single tier.
As is Xayah Enigma, to be honest. That's also a thing of beauty.
I have a man crush on half of EG, at least.
Don't be afraid to admit it.
Okay, I said half, but I think every single one of them. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, it's neat. I mean, that's like a pocket strat. I think it's like kind of a cheesy lineup, but it's cool. I mean, it worked, and I think there have been heroes that have been picked because of, just trying to do fan service. Teams that were knocked out or likely to be knocked out, just like, well, why not? Let's do it. But this was clearly part of a strategy. The strategy worked, and there was little the enemy team could do against it. So I can dig it. I wouldn't hate seeing them again. That's for sure.
Would not hate. Pudge was the next one I had on the list. Nice little 1-0 showing.
I believe that was fan service, if I remember correctly.
It was what?
Fan service. It was like,
yes.
This game really doesn't matter, so we'll pick a Pudge.
But did well.
Did win.
100%.
Killing it.
I'll skip the other two. 1-0s. We got the Visage 5-1. 83% win rate.
That'll do.
Now, granted, how many of those were with Isama on the Drow? Might have been 3. But either way, that's a pretty good win rate. And do you think Visage has a place to get in any of these main event games?
I don't know. Comparatively, I feel like the birds are good and all. I feel like you're just normally going to be running all together, and while they can certainly participate in your fight and don't have to be on another side of the map to be effective, it's hard to get the push potential out of him that you can get out of a hero like Shadow Shaman, who has more lockdown in the earlier parts of the game as well. So unless you're pairing it with the Drow Aura activatable, I can see you being like, is it really something we want to spend a pick on? That being said, I don't think that Visage is like a bad hero, or that I'm not going to say that he's not going to get picked up. I could totally see it happening. I just don't know that it would be something often, or something that you would see maybe in a super high stakes game.
I get it. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's obviously got a lot going for him in the sense that he's got that good burst. He's got a kind of nice crowd control with the birds, we'll call him, as well as his slow. He's also, he's durable. A lot of supports aren't as durable as him as well. And he seems to get items up a lot. He gets the experience and he gets that gold. And getting that Oghanims makes him even that much more durable, getting that extra bird too. And those things hurt. And obviously we were talking about being used with Drow for the aura benefit. God, they were just doing so much damage. They alone were soloing heroes in those games, essentially, just because of the pure burst damage they bring. But it is interesting to see just his high win rate, but not a lot of picks going for him. But nonetheless, we only got a few more in this club. The Juggernaut, that was kind of the transition, but 6-2, 75%. So
yes,
really strong.
I feel like a similar hero that I was actually excited to see, and I know we actually, when we were watching some games together, talked about him a little bit, but Lifestealer. I don't know if he's on your list. He's only 3-2, so 60%. Fine.
Nah, that doesn't make my cut. No.
I'm actually happy to see him for all the time he spent away. A hero that if you're got those lightning fast reflexes can help you against the Tidehunter. Can have some fun with the Infest bombs with a lot of the teleporting heroes. So.
I was going to say, though, I feel like a lot of the bomb heroes are kind of not in the meta right now. Or not as much. All these heroes getting Blink Daggers kind of makes them still viable, like we saw in those games. He'd go into, like, a Wraith King. And then he would just... Knight. Or an Omni Knight, perchance. But he wasn't. But he could have been. And, anyone that really just has that kind of ability to jump is good enough. But, the Storm Spirit's only been picked 9 times. There's those kind of heroes. Nature's Prophet, not... he's there, but he's not as there. You know what I mean. It's not as frequent. So, but yeah, he's still obviously got a great kit for certain situations. The Magic Community, the ability to bomb, like you said, and then he's a tank killer. So obviously, if you're against a really heavy health team, he's going to do a lot of work. Also a really good Roshan killer, may I add, for the open wounds and such. But yeah, it's really interesting to see him as well. But no, he did not make my cut, unfortunately. Abaddon 3-1, 75%. So we talked about one of those 4 games, but legit.
here's the real question, stats man. How does that compare to Treant Protector? Actually sporting a 41% win rate.
Oh.
So doing much better, which is interesting.
It is. I mean, not that he has many games, but yeah, it is. And I think he's only getting picked in these kind of comps, like I just said, like in a Necrophos build, or one that like wants to keep that durable hero alive and be able to output as much damage as possible. Actually, I didn't realize that. Flossie is a good point from the chat. With all the Razor picks, it's not a happy lifestealer. Yeah, so I mean,
that is very true.
Yeah, it's a great reason teams may not be running him as much. With all these Razor picks, he's OD and Lifestealer kind of get manhandled by this hero, or anyone with magic immunity in general. The Lone Druid Bear, obviously, he's amazing against that too. So
is OD in your sad boys list?
Oh, he sure is.
Okay, had to make sure.
He's the king. He's the king of the club. We're almost there too. The final one I have on my list is Weaver, who's 11-4. 73%.
This was something that Merlini or Lumi,
that guy,
were talking about, especially in reference to Howe's Weaver, and being one that plays super aggressive, uses the hero as an aggressor, someone who can play really aggro if the supports aren't on top of their ganking. Applying that early pressure with Dust and then, of course, Wards. And when you play like that, it sort of fits into the 4 Protect. One, he's a hero that can't sort of globally participate like some of the others is talking about, or, no illusions to split push with, like with Naga Siren, but just if you're playing super aggro, you have the time lapse, you have the Shikuchi, you're going to be pulling more than one hero away in order to make something happen, and just because of the way that these other heroes on the team have been shaping up around that Weaver, if the other team is sending 2 to go fight Weaver, then all of a sudden it's 4v3, and you have the tools in your kit to take that fight as soon as it's available.
He's so strong. He really is. He does a lot of work, especially, I mean, if he's utilized in that off lane too. He's so hard to lock down early on and to assure a kill on. Getting that max move speed is essentially enough to get out of almost any situation. And then late game, he can pretty much contend with almost any other auto attacker out there. I mean, getting that double attack off, able to have essentially 2 lives if you time it right. The Swarm's actually really great for your team to add up damage on these enemy heroes as well. I've always been a huge fan of the hero, but he's obviously showing an amazing win record. Despite being against Faceless Voids too, which is kind of interesting to me, because Faceless Void, one of those heroes that can be really powerful against a hero like a Weaver. If you catch him in your ult, and then you have a Skywrath on your team, we've seen actually, there were some games where that did happen, and he got blown up, because there's literally nothing he could do. He was trapped in there, and he's usually pretty squishy till late in the game. So, relatively susceptible to that kind of thing, but still, as long as he perseveres and gets to that kind of late game, he's going to be a really big nuisance and a really great support killer that leads to kind of picking off stragglers later in the fight.
I really enjoy the, not even full Lincolns all the time, but, like the Lincoln's Dezo build, where you get your 1 defensive item maybe, or you start going towards your defensive item, and then you go for something that's going to give you high impact. So he does require a little bit of that time to ramp up, but I feel like the way he's been getting played really helps him out in the early game and helps his team out in the early game, pumping out that damage so that he isn't just somebody that has to sit around and farm until he reaches a critical mass.
No, I absolutely agree. And he's got a lot of he's got good presence, I'd say, throughout the entire game. He can fight pre-level 6 even if he needs to. The Shikuchi damage, so strong. Able to move around, getting those double attack off, doing really good work as well. I just think he's really a strong presence throughout, and I think he will maybe get seen as well in these main event games. Especially off this win record. There'll definitely be lineups for him. So that concludes the high win rate club. Sad club, not the club you want to be in right now. Let's put Narvi in there too.
Unless technically EGs, they may have started the sad club, and they're actually doing pretty well. They were the sad boys, and now they're killing it, actually. So
you didn't like my joke?
I did. I was just halfway through my thought when you said it, and it really got cheated out of its full potential.
It's true. But yes, OD, king of it. 0-5 so far. No big surprise, in my opinion. Well, I mean, granted, I don't know how many of those were against Razors, to be fair. But is there a reason he's just kind of fallen off from grace here?
I haven't gotten to watch all of the games. I would really like to see them, because if you don't have the Razor, then I'm wondering why he's having such a hard time when he could go like Mech and BKB and really just look to lay on the hurt and participate at a reasonably early point in the game. Although I guess it's not like he's a hero that's relying on a super short cooldown ultimate. I don't know. I definitely want to go back and do some research, because while I don't think you should be having a great time, and especially with the prevalence of Razor, but Razor's also a hero that's been getting targeted for bans a lot. So there are still the opportunities to sneak that hero into the pool and try to have some success with them. So interesting.
It is, and there will be something. And actually, I've already looked at 3 of the games really quickly. No Razors against him yet. So it's not like that hero is the reason he's losing. It seems to be more to it. But either way, yeah, just definitely interesting that he's 0-5. Famous Assassin, 0-4. Not having a great time either.
Arteezy has not played him yet. I'm right.
Is it because Snake King's played him twice? Oh, that's rough. No, you're right. It's been Snake King, Lance, and Zhao.
Okay, so that all makes sense to me. I mean, not to knock any of those players, but I feel like I would expect EG to play PA, and I would expect the games to go better than they have gone to this point.
Or Isama even, and he hasn't played him either. So.
Yeah. And I even, you go the mid and you go for, an early mech, I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could dig it. Using the hero for just the high aggro, being able to toss out the daggers when trying to push up on towers or what have you, and trying to chunk down the supports. I think that's not how the record is going to wind up looking by the end of the event.
I would agree with that. Axe. 0-4.
He was so there.
He wasn't he? There was a glimpse.
I think it's just bigger AoEs were found. I feel like the problem. Less snowball dependent heroes with just as much impact, potentially over a wider area too.
Mm-hmm.
And just comparing to the Tidehunter in particular. So I'm really sad about that, because I still was not sick of Axe. I was still kind of on board.
No, I wasn't sick of me. The dunks, man. The dunks feel so good, and just going through that fight, just dunking away, killing people left, right, and center. But I think you're right. And actually, it's kind of interesting. I want to look this up now. I feel like Centaur has made a bit of a comeback in TI4. He's not all around. He's not he's not super popular. And as I'm looking him up, I hope I'm not wrong. All right, I'm right. There we go. See, it's okay. Good to talk first and come back later.
It's not that the 4 games that I watch had him in every single one. It's that he's actually been there a lot. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. No, hey, come on. Centaur Runner, 10 games played, 7-3, 70%. So showing he's still got able to show his stuff. I mean, I always made the comparison of him against Axe. I mean, obviously they're very different hero-wise, but they kind of fill a similar role. And now, why is he so successful, but Axe is struggling, do you think?
Burst. The ability to just take heroes out instantly. And, Wraith King, I think you had told me about using the Stampede to just completely negate the Wraith King ultimate. Not that he's been... I mean, he's actually been a pretty popular hero over the tournament. So... I think he just is less snowbally as well. Like, you really only need the one thing, and
you need Blink. Maybe Blade Mail helps, but the Blink is kind of it.
And,
yeah, you're right.
honestly, he has the potential. Not that X doesn't, but because I do remember I think it was Pycat playing him where he gets ganked and kills 2 of the 3 people and survives. There's just potential for that Centaur to be able to pick off people he finds even when he is outnumbered. So.
Okay. Boy, this episode's going a long time, so I'll try to go through these next ones a little quicker. I know you still got to package stuff tonight, so apologies to you.
Killing me.
You're not going on that plane tomorrow. I'm not letting you. Silencer, 0-4.
Why do you have to beat me down? Why can't you just let me have something?
There's nothing to have here.
This makes
no hope.
Complete and total sense. Hero that takes way too long to come online in the carry role. Ultimate cooldown is way too long if you're not getting the levels, and doesn't provide lockdown. Like we've mentioned, the whole episode is kind of, I think, really what is defining a lot of the supports. And even just to go back to when you mentioned Shadow Demon, gets no items, can disrupt people in Chronosphere, completely screws with Faceless Void Ultimate, who is huge as Torment. What's Silencer do? What if you make a bad judgment call and you drop a global silence at the wrong time? You've just blown everything completely wide open. It's a lot of risk, and the reward is really not that great.
It's not. Not in most cases, to be honest.
At least Omni Knight, if you're doing your gimmick with the Storm Spirit, the likelihood of that working is really, I feel like, pretty good. If your Storm gets off to a great start, you have a lot of potential there to just sort of abuse that gimmick. But tough.
Oh, and the note on the Omni Knight, they also picked it into a team that really didn't have a hero that was good with Diffusal Blade. So it was just that much more sweet. You know what I mean? Like they were able to. They used it so well. But yeah, let's get back on track here. What was next in line? Ogre Magi. 0-3. Not as successful as our Ogre Magi. Yes, not as successful as our future Ogre Magi. Assuming those stretch goals get met, people. 0-3. 2 of those picks by Kurokai on Navi. I mean, I think this one could probably almost explain itself. It's Ogre Magi. But,
hey.
I mean, he's a hero of chance. So, you either get it or you don't.
He's also a hero, and I'm actually looking through right now to see. Okay, this is actually I can kind of dig the Ake Ogre Magi paired with.
Is it Admiral Lone Druid?
Oh, no. That's what I was looking for, of course. But an Ursa and a Shadow Fiend. That's kind of neat. Vengeful Spirit. I can. All right, I'm getting the feels on that one a little bit. I can kind of dig it.
Yeah.
But we normally see him paired with something like the Lone Druid to get that bear online as quickly as possible, and you don't see that in any of the games. Actually, looks like paired up with Faceless Void does make sense.
It does make sense for sure.
Maybe
he didn't even get to the point though where Bloodlust was even a thing. Like, you know what I mean?
How's the bear doing? Because I feel like the times that I've seen him have not been all that great, but I still, I'm just saying, a great opportunity for Mech Lone Druid.
4 and 6. He's had better days. Not bad though.
I bet he didn't build Mech in any of those losses.
Probably not.
Disappointing.
I'm not looking through all of them, but I would agree with you. Probably not.
But it's my dream. It'll come true one day.
Sure. Well, just as soon as Blink Bear happens, maybe that should have been one of the stretch goals. That's the Bo's goal. If we get all 3. We'll stream a game where Matt builds a freaking Blink Dagger on his stupid bear, and we'll just get it done. It just needs to happen now. I'm almost upset with it that it just hasn't happened yet. So, sorry, a little vengeance out there.
It's okay.
Zeus, 0-2. He's not living the dream.
No, there's hope. It's gonna happen.
Sure, it is.
I want to believe.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't supporting either of those games either. Yeah.
Well, that was why he lost. Probably.
Yeah, Korok and Sing Sing. So, these things happen. But, yeah, it was fine. Well, it wasn't. They lost. But, yeah, it wasn't fine for them, per se. The other team, yeah. And finally, Jakiro. 1-7, 13%. Now you probably question, Owie probably played all of those, right? No, because I know that was your question. No, it was your question. No, it was all 7 games were by different players. So 7 different teams used, or 8 teams, excuse me, played Shakiro.
Okay.
And not having success with it, apparently.
I think where you would expect to see success is with the prevalence of Faceless Void and being able to throw down macro pyres, LOL, get owns, Fire and Flames, GG. Where he does fall short, again, crowd control, and being dependable too. Right, at the end of the day, you miss your fissures in the early game. If you can make it in the late games, Shaker, and you have some levels, because those pre-level 11 Echo Slams are less than impressive. You at least are getting the Aftershock stuns. Cool. Jakiro can just miss a lot. And the Liquid Fire prioritization that I feel like I've seen of late is nice, I guess, if you're trying to harass somebody out, but you know, we do have a lot of these heroes who can stand up to that level of harassment, and you know, I guess you can push towers with it, but hey, then why not just go with Shadow Shaman, who is going to hit 6 and then, you know, be able to blow up the tower all at once instead of a little bit at a time. So I'm, I guess, a little bit surprised that it's that bad, but that just proves that we need to see Owie do it.
Hey, fair enough. We need him to do it more. Now, he was one of them, but he needs to do it more. And, I mean, will they risk it in their main event games? Maybe not. But I guess it depends completely on what they decide to go with. Speaking of which, I think it's time to finally move on to the standings. Where we're at.
There's more.
2 hours in. Now, honestly, this should be one of the shortest parts, in my opinion. Because what I want to do is just kind of go over what happened in Phase 2, what happened in Phase 3, and kind of lead into the main event, which you're going to, obviously. So, Phase 2 happened. That was the group stage. You know, what was it? The top 10 teams moved along. Bottom 6 eliminated. The last time we talked with you guys, which was last week, of course, it was only one day in. Narvi was on top. Along with a couple other teams. Things changed. So let's just run down this list really quick. The top 2 teams were Vici Gaming and Evil Geniuses. Vici 12-3, Evil Geniuses 11-4. So yeah, what do you think about that?
I'm actually really sad about this because I really need to go back and watch these VC Gaming games. I
feel like I missed all 15.
I caught a couple, right? But and just hearing how they went and the fact that they finished so strong, they were really a team that, you know, for whatever reason, me being caught up in my fandom and hype of other teams, sort of just was like, okay, they're playing too. Just the way that they've sort of been described with their relentless aggression, I am really curious to see how they do. And this is a team too. I mean, I was actually just looking at this earlier because I was thinking about the Navi and the C9 game. Whoever wins that has to fight either Newbie or VC. And that is going to be real tough to come out of. I mean, not that any of these teams are easy matches, but the way that these two teams have been playing in the tournament has been really impressive. And I don't know, maybe you want to fight another Team DK instead. I don't know.
It's crazy, right? And I predicted DK kind of being in these top 2. They were so close to 10-5, but they didn't quite make the cut. So they were forced down to the bubble, which was Phase 3. And essentially, we'll just name off the rest of them. IG happened, Navi, regular, vanilla, Cloud9, Liquid, Titan, Newbie, and LGD Gaming. Bottom 6 was Mal Sports, Tears shed. Alliance, maybe bigger tier, was shed this day. There go your champions. Empire, Fnatic, Narvi, and Arrow. Arrow ending at 2-13. wow. I mean,
The hype
we
was
watched
great.
Arrow playing, right? We watched them coming into this. We're like, look at this team. Like, they look incredible. They got this fire going with them. DDZ is a hero. You know, he's amazing. And maybe it has to do with all those Tinker bands, I don't know. But I just can't believe that they had such a poor showing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, right? I mean, I think it's just it's a tough environment for them to play in. I feel like you can sort of boil down their drafts to certain elements that you can plan against and predict. You know, Lance being on a team fight core, with DDZ being in the middle lane on one of his signatures. Maybe getting themselves a little predictable. I like you said, I really wanted Malice to do well. I wanted them to come out of it. And it's really sad that Alliance are already kicked out.
Yeah.
Even though they are champions, they're a team that I somehow, similar to, I guess, Na'Vi in TI2, I was like, I just want these guys to come in and win because they've played really well of late, after sort of coming off of a little bit of a slump. And it's sad to see some of these teams leave, but
they had to. That's how the event works, unfortunately, right? I mean, Fnatic, we were kind of all, not all maybe, but a lot of us were cheering for with Era coming back, like, oh, maybe they can do it. Because that first day, they were doing pretty good. They pulled out some really clean wins. We're like, oh, maybe him being away wasn't too horrible, but they just couldn't find their stride. And midway through, they actually changed Hani over to support, and No Tail, Big Daddy, as he's going by now. In fact, that's so official. His Twitter is Big Daddy, is Fnatic Big Daddy, and someone took Fnatic No Tail the second he got rid of it. So it's that official that I guess he wants to be a Big Daddy for whatever reason. But yeah, they just couldn't pull through. And then Narvi, our boys from North America. I mean, what promise after that first day. We gave them all the aspiration in the world, and they slipped through their hands.
Yeah, again, I'm just sad that they would lose, but I have to say too, I've liked every single part of this event set up for being the event of the year, and the bubble brackets I feel like were another just great thing.
You like
it's
them?
nice. I did like them. I feel like everybody gets to play everybody else. And some of the commentators have said, oh, I feel like now that we're in best of threes, that's much more to the benefit of this team. They had a harder time in the group stage. Well, guess what? If that's your case and you had a hard time with that, here's your chance to go through and just see how many teams you can beat down and increase your rating and your ranking in the main event. I think to much the way that the qualifiers were set up, there is no excuse for not performing other than the other teams were better more consistently and you were not.
Yeah.
And this is like, no one's going to say that, oh, this team, they this one thing got screwed up and that's why they lost and they're the rightful heirs to the throne.
Are you the Cookie Monster? Like, what's happening?
That might be my character voice for the...
He's going to dress up as the Cookie Monster for the RP night. Oh, God. No, I completely agree. And, let's compare it to the past times. It was 16 teams, split up in groups, and the top half, upper bracket, bottom half, lower bracket. Bada bing, bada boom. Done. In fact, I believe lower bracket was best of ones, at least up to a certain point. You really could get kind of shot out. Whereas, like you're saying, in this bubble bracket, which is Phase 3 as it's known throughout the event, these 3 through 10 all get to play. Now, granted, they're seated in this within this bubble by that position. So the bottom 4 that got in, which was Liquid, Titan, Newbie, and LGD, all had to play a best of 3. Against one another. Well, and they're two separate things. I'm probably wording this in a weird way, but essentially they had to play for their lives. The loser of each got eliminated from the tournament, similar to the other 6. They got a little more money, but not much more. And that's where the real crummy deal is, because I think we talked about how much that payout ramps up. It's insane. It's insane. So of the 6 team, last 2 placed, no money. Narvi and Arrow walked away with nothing except some participation points. Gold star. But 13th and 14th, 21,488, right? So Empire and Fnatic. 11th and 12th, Mouse Sports and Alliance got 37.6. 9th and 10th. So these are the last 2 places of the bubble round. So they got eliminated. Titan and Liquid ended up getting eliminated here. Got 48,000. If you were not one of these eliminated teams, that means you automatically got into the main event. Maybe lower bracket, it doesn't matter, you're in. The lowest amount of money you make is $510,000 at 8th place. So to go from 48,000 to 500,000 is like what? 10 times the increase in payout? It's insane how much of a ramp up that is.
I can dig it though.
Me too.
Because this is still compared to the $5 million first place almost. It's really pocket change compared to other tournaments. Pretty respectable. And at the end of the day, I guess this is like I kind of did want all the teams that made it here to get a little bit of something, but at the same time, you do have to adequately reward the people that are proving over and over and over again through the number of games that are getting played, right. That they are the best team in the world and that they deserve the big bills. So yeah, that does suck, but at the same time, if you're winning as much as if you're able to eclipse other tournaments completely by getting in 10th place, then
right,
that's kind of weird too. So I can see both sides.
So of the bubble round, like I was saying, Liquid lost LGD 2-0. Then LGD played Cloud9. Cloud9 took that series 2-1, and then DK beat Cloud9 2-0. So DK advancing on to the upper bracket to play Evil Geniuses, and then the other ones fall down. So LGD and Cloud9 fall down to the lower bracket. Was there any surprises from this kind of set of events here?
I'm sorry, I was distracted looking at our beautiful website. You were saying?
It is beautiful, isn't it? So beautiful, you might vote on that poll. Were there any surprises from that day one of the bubbles? Liquid versus LGD, for example. Did you think LGD was going to come out on top? I thought Liquid was looking pretty good going in.
I wanted Liquid to win, I'll be honest with you. I expect them to drop out of the main event in their first loser bracket game. So also saddens me that destroyed the American dream.
Right.
I mean, we still do have EG, but it's nice to get as much of the home team in as you can, I guess.
And Cloud9, sort of?
And half of Cloud9.
Yay!
Yay!
But yeah, the rest, I guess. I mean, I thought DK. I'm not surprised DK took the bubble there. Going into the upper bracket, they've kind of got their stride again. They were looking a little wobbly in the beginning, but I think they're really starting to find their pace. And like I said, they're playing EG. I think that's going to be an amazing series. I mean, like we said, I think all of these main event series, I can't really see any of them going awfully. So it's going to be very fascinating either way. Day 2, Newbie being victorious over Titan 2-1. So it was a pretty close series. Then Newbie played Na'Vi. That may be the definition of not close.
Equally close.
2-0, and both games under 20 minutes, I believe.
It wasn't as one-sided as I was led to believe. I mean, there were some times where it felt more even. The one game I thought was really weird was the IO and Ember Spirit played on Na'Vi, I think it was. And they basically just let themselves get ran over. They were trying to just farm undefended or poorly defended territory. They didn't have the heroes to really push Newbie out. They Newbie got to run all over them. Strange, I'll say. But, still at the end of the day, they did wind up dropping out. But I will say that I'm definitely going to be watching that Cloud9 versus Na'Vi game. That should be sick.
Well, hopefully all of them. I think you should be watching all of them. I hope as you're there, you're watching them.
Well, you would think.
And not just staring at, like, Crystal Maiden cosplay women or something,
Well, it's difficult not to. Let's be honest. You got to get your photos in.
Truth. That's what lunch break is for. And then newbie. So obviously they moved on round 3. They played IG and beat them 2-1. So here comes newbie, fighting their way, clawing from the bottom, and now in the upper bracket, like you said, to play Vici, the number 1 seed in the tournament.
Yeah, and
just to spite you. Still.
Just to spite me. Yeah. Again, and maybe this is to newbies' credit and just how they play. Maybe just doing better in those best of 3 scenarios. If you want to say that that's somehow weird or unfair, I don't know how you would. That now they have this potential to move so far up. They clearly had to earn it in playing all of these games to move up in their ranking. So they clearly deserved to make it up there. They beat strong teams and well-known franchises in order to put themselves up in that position. So kudos to them. And like I said, if they drop out, if they stay, no matter what, it's going to be a tough road ahead for the teams that have to face up against them.
Yeah, exactly. So the main event begins Friday.
9
a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other times, other places of the world. I'm sorry I don't have all that info. You can figure all that out, I'm sure, on the Dota 2 website or on your friendly Google homepage. Well, Dota on Demand should be your homepage now, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all starting Friday, and it's 9 a.m. Pacific time every day, I believe it begins. So from Friday through Monday, new sets of games are getting played. It's the upper bracket, all played Friday. Saturday and Sunday is the lower brackets, and then Monday is the grand final. So we've already talked about kind of the matchups. The upper brackets, Vici versus Newbie and EG versus DK. Lower brackets, Cloud9 versus Navi and IG versus LGD. So hey, at least one China team's going home, right? So no hate on them, man. They're so good that they're just everywhere. What are your thoughts? Let's just start with the lower bracket. Well, I guess that's the only place left to go. Between Cloud9 and Navi, any predictions?
It's so tough. My head says Isama saves, but my heart, I guess deep down inside I'm a Navi fanboy, guys. I think
they're in my compendium. We've talked about that. So
although I will say that the games they've been playing, I haven't been like super excited about. So I might want Cloud9 to win just because I think they're more likely to do crazy awesome stuff. The same reason I like EG. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Navi. I think Cloud9's gonna take it, and I think IG's gonna take the
match versus LGD.
Yes.
I agree with IG. I think Navi's. I don't know.
So you're 1-2 deep down inside.
My heart wants Navi.
Your body wants Navi, but your head.
My head knows Cloud9.
Still thinking Cloud9.
Just because of the way Navi's been playing, they've been very shaky. They haven't looked like their champion former selves. And
Navi is clutch. Cloud9 can crumble and make bad decisions.
That's also very true.
Yes.
If they get Mirana banned against them, I'm a little concerned. But we'll have to see what happens. Oh boy, it could really go either way. I think that one's. I think Cloud9 Navi is going to be I think it's going to be closer than IG LGD for sure. I'd say like IG LGD. I think it's like 65-35 in IG's favor, and then I would say like Cloud9 and Navi are almost maybe 55-45 or something, like so close that I don't even want to. I don't know. Do you think that's probably correct?
That's probably about how I would expect it to go. I think that the Cloud9 Navi game, while I would say it would be close, I also think it has the potential to be wildly one-sided somehow. Like it's
Watch that Dravasage.
It's almost impossible to Dravasage versus I don't know Dendi Enigma. Who knows? The upper brackets, I want EG to win clearly, and I honestly don't care who wins VC Newbie. Not because I don't care about the teams, but because I feel like either of them
are strong competitors. I mean, I
feel like one of these teams is going to wind up in the finals, and that makes me.
I think so too.
Sad,
I think
because-
Vichi's gonna make it, man. I think.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
I didn't say Yuji's not. I'm just thinking Yuji might. I mean, then again, according to my chips / compendium and part of my heart, DK I've been kind of a fanboy for ever since they formed, and I still think they have a chance. I don't know if it's from the upper bracket. That might not be the chance. It might have to come from the lower bracket, but I think DK's got. I think they've definitely got that chance. I think they've got a good shot against CG. I think that's going to be a really, really close matchup as well, and I'm excited to see the strats they pull out for that. So, either way, let's get a question for the viewers for next week.
Okay.
Let's do a not Twitter. It's just the DoD on Demand question of the week, which involves Twitter, I guess. Folks, how far do you think Na'Vi is going to make it in this main event?
What we're going to do is we are going to change the poll on the website to reflect this question, and we'll give you some options for how far you think they're going to make it. We'll use that. You can also, if you want to write in, you're welcome to drop by the facebook.com/DoDOnDemand.
Yes.
Or you can tweet at us and tell us maybe a more lengthy answer than a click and vote. But yeah, definitely drop by the website and vote that way, or put in a couple extra words through your normal channels.
Yes.
Again, it's a head versus heart and body thing. I want Na'Vi with my body. I'm not gonna lie.
Whoa.
But I think I have to go with they don't make it out of round one. Oh God, it hurts to say.
That's it. That is painful, isn't it? That is a bit painful. So you're saying 9th, 10th for them.
Yeah.
I'm going to go... Or not 9th, 10th. That's impossible. You're saying 7th and 8th.
Yeah. That's
they're going back a step. That's how bad they're going to do. I'm going higher, man.
You're going grand final winner.
I'm not going... I'm going...
Second place.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go with my compendium. I'm going to go 5th, 6th. Because that's where I put them in the compendium. So I'm going to just follow my heart and lead it there. And we got a question: is the podcast going to be the Tuesday after it's over?
It will be the Thursday after it's over because I am actually flying back. I'm going to be dead. I will be a zombie, to let you know. I'm flying back into Maryland 9 p.m. I have work the next day, and then I'll be coming home to do the podcast because I want to tell you guys about what an amazing time I know it's going to be. But like I said, in the interim, to keep you guys busy, I will be commandeering the Facebook. We'll be taking plenty of pictures. Maybe you know what? I think we're going to try to do something fun. We might have to put our heads together and see if we can get something going. We can unite the coasts, and maybe we can find something fun to do while I'm out there. But yeah, we're going to plan for the Thursday, and it'll be up to Jay to do Dota Theater 3000 on the appropriate day, the Wednesday.
Oh, snip.
He has some pressure.
The pressure! Maybe I'll invite Big Don. Oh, wouldn't that be a treat for everyone? Awesome. So we got through it all, somehow, it appears. It was a lot of fun, though, talking about it. And once again, I wanted to thank everyone who both... old and new viewers and listeners. We really appreciate you guys. Hope you guys can help us with our stretch goals, because really it's all for you. You know, we're doing this content for you guys. We love doing it, but I think you guys are really going to enjoy it too if you can help us out. So, please register up with our DoDOnDemand.com. Get all your friends to come in, join in, and maybe we can really turn into something amazing.
I was going to say pretty much the exact same line. There's some... To me, I feel like the big takeaway from us getting this website up is, we have loved coming to you guys for the past couple of years. We had some times where we took breaks, but every single time we came back because you guys are amazing. The fact that we have Ocean giving up his ticket, we have people that are willing to help us make this as big as we can, and we have these stretch goals out there because we want to do things with you guys and build this up into being the best we can. So help us help you, get the word out there. stop by dodaondemand.com. Tell your friends about it. Throw it up in the forums that you guys frequent. We would appreciate all the help. If you happen to see something up on the Reddit, please upvote that MFer. Just help us out there, and we will continue to try to give you the best content we possibly can. So if anybody is out there in Seattle, I will be trying to give out my location. I will be, once I figure out exactly where my seats are, I'll be sure to let you guys know. Me and Gino Beam will be wearing the black and gray that you've seen on the stream Dota On Demand shirts.
Yeah.
Actually, Shane is going to inherit one of these shirts as well, so very happy to be able to donate one of our wares to him, and all the hard work that he's put in there making the production at the level that it is. So definitely be on the lookout for the updates. And do you have any other parting words?
No, man, you got it all.
Alrighty, well, guys, I don't know how much playing Dota you're going to be able to do, but definitely go out there and watch some. I'll be there watching it with you. So look for me in the camera shots of the crowd. We will see you guys next week.